we use to monitor how frequently we need to do testing and our restrictions as it relates to the Parsons Health Center and assisted living. That rate is currently at 10.4%, which is an increase from last week. We were expecting that the rate was going to increase, and we are hopeful that that's going to flatten out and hopefully start to drop over the next few weeks. We currently have 3 employees who have tested positive for COVID-19 and are out in quarantine, recovering at home. We also have 2 independent living residents who tested positive and have been recovering in quarantine, doing quite well, as I understand. Thankfully, their quarantine ends tomorrow, so we're really happy about that. Today, we learned that we have a new case in Parsons Health Center. This is a resident who was recently admitted to Parsons Health Center from the hospital. The resident was exposed in the hospital. Thankfully, our practices were when someone's admitted to Parsons, they're in quarantine, and we use all the precautions until we get, after 5 days, we get a negative test. Well, this new resident had tested negative a couple times, but stayed in quarantine. We got back that 5-day PCR test, and it tested positive. So thankfully, it's not considered an outbreak. It was hospital acquired, and all the precautions have been in place since admission. So he will continue to recover and stay in quarantine until he's considered recovered. So the good news is all the practices were in place, and we think the risk of any kind of exposure is really low. Anyone who was staff members who might have been exposed will be tested today or tomorrow, and then again in a couple days. So we'll make sure we're good as it relates to that. In other good news, yesterday, I think, Wednesday, yesterday, we administered 20 third dose Pfizer vaccine doses to Parsons Health Center and assisted living residents who are immunocompromised residents, and so we're real happy about that. We know we're working on doing a second group in both Parsons and assisted living. We really appreciate our partnership with Common Share Pharmacy. That's the group who's helping us get that Pfizer vaccine to help us with those third doses for folks who qualify for it. We do hope that we'll be administering more vaccines soon after the September 20th target date for the booster shots. We don't know exactly how that's going to happen yet, but we're going to continue to work towards making sure we make that available to everybody as soon as we can. Our staff behind the scenes continues to work almost every day with Virginia Department of Health, and as well as making sure we're up to speed with all the CMS and CDC guidelines. We are certainly considering some updates to our policies and our procedures as it relates to both residents and employees. At this time, even though we have ticked over the 10% positivity rate, we don't have any changes that we're making at this point. Like I said, we are considering a couple, both in terms of resident policies, and then on the staff side, we have some things we're considering too, but we won't be making those changes this week. If we make any, it'll be next week. We will continue to keep our programming open and continue to allow visitors in our dining rooms and in other activities such as here in the Cerebral November Theater. We really want to make sure you do your part, and that's encourage your family members or your guests to be vaccinated if they're going to be on campus, and also to wear their mask really everywhere on campus. It's important. That's the best protection we have, is to wear a mask. The vaccine obviously is the best for all of us, but beyond that, that second layer of protection that we can take so that we don't get it, and if we are exposed, we're not sharing it, is to wear our masks. For residents, if you've traveled away from home, even for a day, or you've been in close contact with a group of people, whether it be here in Richmond or out of town for a day, or if you think there's any reason why you might have been exposed to someone with COVID-19, I want to encourage you to reach out to the clinic and we can get you a rapid test. We have plenty of supplies. It's an easy test, only takes 15 minutes. So if it makes you more comfortable, it certainly makes us more comfortable. Don't consider it a burden. It's easy to do. All of us staff who are away for a day are doing that, and we've certainly found the cases that we have found, the positives in terms of breakthrough cases we found, it's been largely through doing these rapid tests and then following it up with the PCR. So even if you're not experiencing any symptoms, if you're concerned, go ahead and get that test. It's helpful in terms of allowing us to know that you're well, you're safe, and you can go about your day knowing you're not going to expose anyone else. If you need to, or if you want to, or need to schedule a rapid test, please call the clinic, 264-6231. And also, even more importantly, if you're having any symptoms, whether it be head congestion, headache, cough, whatever it is, contact your physician or call the clinic so we can get you tested. A lot of folks who are vaccinated who are testing positive through these breakthrough cases, their symptoms are very mild. It can look and feel a lot like allergies or a head cold. So go ahead and get tested. It's not a burden on anyone, and it's easy to do, so do that for us. We want to remind you, the infection rates are still really high. At 10.4 here in our immediate region, we're lower than a lot of the areas around us. Many areas in Virginia are over 17, 18, 20%, and outside of Virginia even higher. So it's really important that you take special care to follow the guidelines, both when you're here and even more so when you're out in the community. Really important. Protect yourself. I mean, you've all done that by and large. Just about everyone's gotten vaccinated, and our staff have, by and large, all of us have gotten vaccinated. So that's the best thing. Encourage your family and friends. If you're going to be with them, go ahead and get the vaccine. Wear your mask out in public. Really important right now, out at the grocery stores, or if you need to go to the post office or whatever it is, wear your mask. I know it's uncomfortable, but it's really the best protection we have. Always carry it with you, especially when you're outside of outside the campus. Wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizer like we've said, and if possible, keep your distance. Even with your friends here on campus or your family, keep your distance as best you can. If you can't, be sure to wear a mask. So that's it for the COVID update. Now I want to give you a quick progress update on the promenade and the parking deck. Show you a couple photos of the promenade. This is the interior demolition. You can see, I talked to Ed Pinkerton today. He's our site superintendent on the promenade. He said we're between 85 and 90% complete with the demolition on the interior of the promenade. There's a couple more of the brick walls. This one that you can see now, that'll be coming down here in the next few days. And then some of this interior ductwork has to be removed, and so they'll continue with that for the next week or so, and then we should be mostly done with the demolition side, and they'll begin to lay out how the new walls are going to go up inside. So we're excited to see that. I got a bit of a sneak peek in there today, and that's good. Here's an overhead shot. You can see where the former Parsons parking lot was. Shows you the work's been done to clear the site. They're out there today working you can see some of the excavation work happening today as they prepare for the building pad. As we continue into October, the concrete foundation work will start to happen. You'll see that in the next couple of weeks. We have installed a construction camera. It's on top of the Parsons building looking right at the work. So that construction camera is now available for you to watch if you've got nothing else to do in your apartment. You want to stay warm and dry, but you want to watch guys work outside. You can go to the Touchtown Community app. There's an icon for the Vibrancy Project. Click on that. And then on the left bar, you'll see an icon that says Live Webcam. You click on that. It'll take a second to load, but once it loads, you'll see a live video of grown men playing in the dirt with big, heavy equipment. And some of us like to do that, like to watch that. So if you want to do that, you can. Not a lot of activity yet, but in a couple of months, once the parts and pieces of the deck arrive, it'll be really fun to watch them put up 12 to 18 pieces of this deck per day with a crane. And so that'll be interesting to watch. So you can do that at your leisure from your apartment. Now changing gears, and lastly for me, last night Westminster Canterbury celebrated our 15th anniversary of the Sarah Bell November Theater with a performance from the Glenn Miller Orchestra. It was great that many of you were in the theater enjoying the classic tunes that Glenn Miller Orchestra has performed to reach all the generations from my great-grandparents all the way through today. Thank you all, everyone who makes all these performances in the theater possible, both with your hard work and your generous support to the performing arts through the generous gifts that everybody makes to the Westminster Canterbury Foundation. For that, we're very thankful. The theater here, the Sarah Bell November Theater, and the programming that takes place in here is a great example of what the spirit of generosity makes possible here at Westminster Canterbury through our foundation. There are many other ways that the foundation's work impacts this community, and it's all it's all due to your support. The fellowship program, the program that promotes healthcare excellence, wellness programming, memory support programming, studio arts, pastoral care, child development center, and many more. For all those, we're incredibly thankful. It makes for such a rich community that we're all blessed to be part of. And so we're grateful to have the opportunity to celebrate all this generosity in so many ways. So I want to thank everybody for that. And we look forward to more wonderful performances here in the theater. That's all for me today. Next up is Julie McElduff from the wellness team, and I'll see you next week.
Good afternoon. We like to take a holistic approach to wellness at Westminster Canterbury, Richmond. We care about inspiring the mind, nurturing the spirit, and strengthening the body. Recently, I read an article from the Mayo Clinic that discussed the many benefits of volunteering and how it affects our personal wellness. There are many health benefits in volunteering, from lowering stress levels to boosting self-confidence. Research even shows it can lower your blood pressure and lengthen your life. Did you know that volunteering decreases your risk of depression? Volunteering increases social interaction and helps to build a strong support system. Volunteering also gives us a sense of purpose and teaches us valuable skills. Volunteering also helps people to stay physically active and mentally active. Activities get you moving and thinking. Most volunteers report better physical health than those who do not volunteer. Volunteering may reduce stress levels. Having social connections through volunteering helps to buffer stress, reduce your blood pressure, and can even reduce your risk of disease. Volunteering may help you live longer. Volunteers with serious or chronic diseases report declines in pain intensity and depression as they serve others. Volunteering helps you to meet people with similar interests and helps you to develop new relationships. The shared activity of volunteering builds lasting bonds with others. Our foundation is hosting a ramp blitz on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, which is September 22nd through the 24th. This is a wonderful volunteer opportunity for residents to join staff volunteers in building wheelchair ramp components for seniors in need in the greater Richmond area. Not only is this volunteering opportunity a great fellowship outreach, it also challenges your mind and body while also allowing you to meet others and to make lasting connections. If you're interested in this volunteer opportunity, we ask you to contact Leota at extension 5169. Aristotle said it best, "The essence of life is to serve others and to do good." And I have one more announcement. We have the Resident Farmers Market coming up Tuesday, September 14th, and that will be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the marketplace. We will have fresh produce from local farms available. We will be accepting credit card, or you can charge to your house account. A separate market will be held for staff on Thursday, September 16th, and we hope to see you there. Thank you. Next is Glendon Kemp.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. I have several updates for you. My first update regards resident bicycle registration. Beginning on November 1st, Security and Resident Services will be auditing bike racks on campus. Unlabeled bikes will be removed. Residents should have their bikes registered with Resident Services. All bikes should have resident name and apartment numbers on them. There are bike storage locations in the courtyard garage and the glebe storage shed. Next update is regarding your old resident phone directories. To provide an additional layer of security to your personal information, shred bins will be provided for 2 weeks in the Rice Assembly and the Center Business Center. Excuse me, I lost my place. We are providing these bins so you can dispose of your old resident phone directories. The bins will be available on Monday, September the 27th through Friday, October the 8th for 2 weeks. Next, I want to talk about pre-registering visitors at the gate. Beginning on Monday, September 13th, this Monday, Security will return to our previous practice of requiring visitors to be pre-registered. This means that your guests will be required to be registered with us prior to their arrival in order to access the campus. Guests with frequent visitor badges will be able to access the campus without registration, and frequent visitor passes will be honored as well. Guests without frequent visitor badges or passes will need to be registered with security, or they may be turned away at the gate. Visitors can be registered by calling the gate at extension 6086 or Central Station at extension 1111. Lastly, as a safety reminder, resident foot and bicycle traffic is not permitted in either the Parsons Health Center area, where the parking deck is being built, nor in the employee parking lots. Please, for your safety, stay clear of these areas. We appreciate your continued compliance with this. And next up is Logan Augustine. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Logan Augustine in Pastoral Care. This Saturday marks the 20th anniversary of the events of September 11th, 2001. For many, it's a day that is etched in our memories. Westminster Canterbury is observing this time in several ways. Barton and Madge Campbell invite you to gather in the Chaplain room on Saturday, September 11th at 11 a.m. to share recollections and remembrances of this heartbreaking day. There are also slides marking this day on TV 971 and on the digital signs throughout campus. You can find a collect for the anniversary of September 11th in the September Daily Prayer booklet as well. Additionally, Jerry Anderson, a resident, is sharing the Freedom Quilt with the community here. It was designed by his son Christopher and quilted by his wife Marianne. The quilt is on display now in the November gallery through Monday. I have a prayer today for the anniversary of September 11th. Holy God, creator of all peoples and all nations, it is with sorrow and apprehension we remember the tragic events that occurred on this day. We lift to you in prayer all those who died in the Twin Towers, at the Pentagon, and on United Airline Flight 93 in Pennsylvania. We entrust them to your loving care. Console their families, friends, and all who mourn this loss, and the hope that all who trust in you find peace and rest in your kingdom. We pray for those who courageously responded to provide aid and comfort to the afflicted. May their painful memories of that day be healed, and transformed into strength and positive resolution. Enable us to put an end to fear by resolving to live lives that are based on respect for one another, by resolving to abide in a peaceful manner and never settle disagreements in our lives in a violent way, by resolving not to fall into the trap of blaming entire ethnic groups, races, or religions in response to acts of hostility, but by resolving that justice, not revenge, prevail in our world. Let us resolve that in the face of hatred, we will show love, that in times of despair, we will be voices of hope and creators of new dreams, that in times of darkness, we will be sources of light. Let us resolve that we never regard forgiveness as weakness, but rather as a source of strength in our lives and in the world. And let us honor the memory of nearly 3,000 individuals who died on September 11th, 2001, by resolving with your help, Almighty God, to truly live this way so you may be glorified and your love be made known to others through us. Amen. Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next Thursday for the following update.